Hi. Imagine this scenario. Let me set the scene. In the year 2001, you're a police officer of already 10 years. You've been married for a few years, and you have an 18-month-old daughter. Your wife is 6 months pregnant with yet another daughter. You're living the dream. This is the best time of your life. Many appointments, and an exhausted 2 weeks later, your world comes crashing down. You're given the most devastating news ever, which is going to consume you for the next 2.5 years. Your pregnant wife, the love of your life, the mother of your child, or children to be, has advanced cancer and is very sick. Let the never-ending doctor visits begin, sometimes 2 or 3 a day. Let the rumors and the phone calls take the back shelf as you determine the plan of action. The plan of action is limited to 1 foot in front of the other, choosing daily priorities while trying to balance work, family, and health. The mental health professionals call this survival mode. Now, at 10 years on, some might question what could actually cause this family's catastrophic financial plunge. This family also had 12 weeks of sick time. This was also a time when everybody had good insurance, if you know what I mean. I know this room is full of seasoned employees, so that's good. There's a lot of insight here, which is great. So let's educate those who fortunately have not had to endure or witness such hardships. Any amount of sick time during tragedy flies by when you're taking care of business. There's doctor's appointments, there's family, prior obligations, mowing the lawn, feeding the babies, visiting the baby and or the wife in the hospital, doing laundry, buying food, preparing food, washing dishes, administering medication, taking care of baby at home while the wife is in the hospital or is at chemotherapy, or taking care of the wife at home while the baby's in the hospital, or going to doctors, or taking children to school, picking children up. Let's not forget time on hold on the telephone. I mean, the list goes on. If you've ever had to deal with major illness, you know that 12 weeks flies by. The deductibles and the copays, they add up. At that time, $7,000 a year. And if you never knew what an out-of-pocket was, you learn quickly when dealing with medical bills from tragedy. Meanwhile, without attention to your medical bills and keeping excellent records and an accountant, you will overpay somewhere. I mean, everybody should have an accountant, right? So, surmounting expenses can include what? What would you think? Like mortgage, car payment, gas usage, childcare, home maintenance, house cleaning, medicines. Oh my goodness, the medicines. Let's not forget that this is, of course, the time when the hot water heater is going to break, or the car will break down. Unexpected bills can add up to a family that's normally living paycheck to paycheck. Banked vacation and sick time and your average family's savings account is generally not positioned to survive a catastrophic illness or an injury for one person in a family, let alone two. So what's my point?
The emotion of having a new baby and discovering you have cancer at the same time. That's what just happened to this Las Vegas mom. Jessica Langan was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma just a few weeks ago. And just 4 days ago, she gave birth to a little girl, the couple's second child. With husband Mel working full-time and Jessica undergoing chemotherapy, the family needs help caring for their girl.
I'm worried. I'm concerned. I want to help her. I want things to be easier for her. I want her to be able to spend time with her family and not have to be concerned about whether or not her kids are being taken care of, to ease the burden on her husband when he's at work.
So those friends have gotten together and opened a special account so the Langans can hire a nanny for the year. You can help. Just stop by any Bank of America and ask for the Langan Fund. That account number is also listed in the bottom of your screen there. Or you can call the Leukemia Society at 436-4220. Now, they've just opened this account, so they have a long way to go to help the Langan family.
Dr. Jim in now with the latest forecast.
Hopefully at this point you've determined that I'm sharing very briefly with you about my family's personal life experience. This is what led us here, to this convention even. Hi. My name is Jessica Langan, and I am the founder of OfficerDown.US National online nonprofit fundraising organization that helps law enforcement and their families. Let me just throw this out there right away because I tend to forget this all the time. That child that I was 6.5 months pregnant with was born when my body simply quit at 29.5 weeks pregnant. Nobody thought I was going to survive. Nobody thought she was going to survive. She's currently applying to Ivy League colleges this year. Her older sister is in her 3rd year of college. My husband, my darling husband, LVMPD Sergeant Mel Langan, has retired after 25 years of service, and I am 17 years in remission from stage 3B Hodgkin's lymphoma. And in October, we'll be celebrating 20 years of marriage. All of this occurred in our family before social media. So people that we knew brought us meals, held car wash fundraisers and bake sales, and went to a bank account to help our family. My health is a constant battle as a result of chemo and radiation. I'll touch on that at the end. So our story is certainly not too unique. And the point I wanted to drive home is that the officer, whether on duty or off duty, is often part of another unit, the family unit. The driving force for many are those who stand behind that thin blue line. So what happens when that foundation becomes damaged due to illness, injury, or even death? Outside of an officer being injured or killed in the line of duty, the organizations that may already be in place to assist these families are otherwise unable to do so when the devastation is outside of those parameters: on duty, injured, or death. Primarily, tragedy due to an illness of the officer or a family member, which is not covered by anything but health insurance, is where our help is most unique. How many of us know an officer who suffered an off-duty injury, car accident, heart attack, or sadly an untimely death? Maybe you know of an officer who had a house fire or just severe bad luck. Do we know or support our fellows any less because they fell on hard times while not on the clock? Of course not. Or perhaps they were on the clock and you support them above and beyond what might already be in place to assist them and their family. Maybe you're friends with that officer's family. Maybe your spouse is friends with that person's spouse. Officer Down is also in the position to collaborate with and support emergency accounts as well. Truly, is there ever too much help? I don't think so. This is for you to use. This is for you to support your fellows. It's a website. It's national. It's over 4 years old and still developing. We've raised and distributed over $400,000. You create the fundraisers and they're yours. We validate their legitimacy, and when they're complete, we mail a check. Those who receive the funds from a 501c3 and their accountant often are very grateful because they have a huge tax benefit. When dealing with their taxes later, accountants are generally very happy to hear that a check was written from a 501c3. This is unlike any other fundraising organization online. The amount of money saved can be unspeakable. I cannot tell you how much of a pleasure it is to speak to a room full of chapter representatives who are already familiar with board members, the workings of a board, and the processes of a nonprofit, especially a 501c3. So listen up, you people. I think you'll find this information to be very impressive. OfficerDown.US is a nonprofit in the true sense of the word. Fundraisers for the families of injured or fallen in the line of duty do not incur the 5% administrative fee. 0 admin fees for injured or fallen in the line of duty fundraisers. Credit card fees still apply, but they don't exceed the 2.9% plus 30 cents a transaction unless they're using American Express, which is 3.5% the same. We share your fundraisers on all of our social media, reaching those who support police. OfficerDown.US prides itself on transparency and integrity. We have a platinum rating on GuideStar and other nationally recognized nonprofit reporters. So why is it that I'm here today? And yes, I am actually here. I'll tell you more about that. I'm here to tell you that if you are successful at assisting all of your members and their families, they will know about resources available to them before tragedy. We're hoping to be complete and total partners after this convention. Regardless, our website exists to help law enforcement. But this is what happens. People are comfortable with what they already know, often without ever questioning it. I assume you are familiar with GoFundMe. Yes? It is my experience that they have supported many criminals and have actually deleted many law-abiding officers' fundraisers in times of need. In essence, we are the proverbial GoFundMe for law enforcement, for their families, and for the departments that support them, period. That's what we do. We have a mission and a service. We intend to provide that service to those who support and who we support. We intend to have you provide that information to your members and their families. People don't know what they don't know. If we're going to help you help them, you have to help them to know. So what does this mean for you? This means implementing the OfficerDown.US logo with a link and a brief summary into your chapter's websites. Also, sending out regular emails with this information and reinforcing its usage with your board members. So in other words, you learn that there's somebody in your near vicinity who needs a fundraiser, please. It's your job to direct them to such an organization that can help them. This also means having a point of contact within your group, within your organization, maybe on your board, who's immediately aware of a situation where a fundraiser would be beneficial. They would also gain permission and inform the family of the fundraiser either being created or having been created. They would then be mobilizing that person or persons in charge of creating the fundraiser with the necessary information to put in the fundraiser. With this information and somebody in charge of making these fundraisers, they just take a few minutes. They'll automatically be approved because we know who the board members are. We know who the members of the National Latino Police Officer Association are. This also means making teams who are informed on how to operate the website and create and share these fundraisers, which could be possibly a board member being required to share it on their social media, or all the board members. Once you share a fundraiser, it's going to get and maintain the support that it deserves. Once it reaches the people and has the backing of the organization who supports those people, it will be spread and shared and will be the most productive. So, if you're wondering how come I did this recording, this is why. Due to chemotherapy and radiation, half of my left lung has collapsed. I was told I would never be able to be above 10,000 feet. So I'm going to tell you that Denver is very uncomfortable for me. It can create such problems as breathing or having to take a lot of breaths when talking. I don't know if it will or it won't, but I wanted to be prepared with this video before I got here. Besides, it gives me the opportunity to edit it. Anyhow, thanks for listening. I really appreciate you guys having me here. I'm here for questions and answers. I'm here to work with you, and my job is to help you help others. After all, we're all in this together, right? Thanks.